Hey, good morning, Christy Mattoon here. I have to apologize about yesterday. I tried to get on here and do this live and then the thing broke down. So I'm going to try and do it again this morning and see if we can get all the way through it. What I'm talking about today, and I'm supposed to say before I guess I start, is if you haven't already subscribed, please leave comments. It helps circulate everything and that always just helps other people see it. If you can share the videos, I really super appreciate that. And let's just spread the word around. So what we're talking about today is training yourself to stay in the position to prosper. And most people get so caught up in their day-to-day lives and the thoughts in your head, right, which always relate to your past. So anything that you're thinking inside your brain equates to that polarity that we talk about. And if you're caught in that polarity, it's the yeses and nos, the do's and don'ts, the cans and can'ts, the wills and won'ts, all of those kind of things. You're stuck in that situation. Things you've learned in your past, things that you've gone through in your past, and that's what prevents you from moving forward. That is the roadblocks. That is the resistance. That is the self-sabotage. That is the doubt. So you got to really understand that. And we like to take it and piece it apart and like spread it out and actually make it bigger than it really is just by doing that. So when you understand that the energy of all of these things is really at the end of the day the same. It's either on one end of the spectrum and it's not helping you, or it's at the other end of the spectrum and it's doing wonderful things for you. There's really no difference, right? And so as we relate it to our own personal lives and it becomes our personal story, you get to decide where your focus is. You get to decide where it is that you're keeping your mind and your mentality. And to train yourself to stay in the position to prosper simply means ask yourself, what are you focusing on? Where are you focusing your intention? Because if you're focusing, and by intention I mean anything you're thinking about, anything that's running through your mind becomes your intention. Yes? So if you're focusing on anything that's not going to perpetuate you forward, it's going to pull you backward, or it's going to shrink you and push you down. And that's where most people get stuck. That's where most people feel like they're self-sabotaging, or they're doubting, or they can't do something, and it just turns into this whole mess. So you have to learn how to focus. We live in a world that has taught you how not to focus. We live in a world that has totally taught you how to keep your mind racing and jumping from things to things so quickly, actually, that it's brought our level of capacity to focus to a whole new level of low. It's really sucky. So if you think about being on Facebook or Instagram or any of those wonderful platforms, and they do have their wonderful aspects, I won't deny that. But if you think about being on there, how fast are you flicking through stuff? Most people only catch a headline or watch the first few seconds of a video before they're just like off and running to the next thing. It takes a lot to keep a person's focus in this day and age. And so you have to learn how to focus your own mind into the things that you want to see in your life. You have to be so aware of what's inside your brain, what it is you're thinking about, and then recognize that you can simply move it and think about something else. Now, practicing focus is an interesting project, and you have to set aside time to do it. It's like anything that you're practicing. When you're doing something on a continual basis, that is a practice, right? So if you're sitting there letting your mind run wild every day with out of control thoughts and whatever's going on in your head, that's a practice. You are practicing being in that situation and being that potential person. So you have to figure out a way, and you have to learn how to focus on things for a longer period of time. And simply, it is very easy to do, is pick something across the room from you and then look at it. And you can set a little timer, and the goal would be to focus on that thing for 15 seconds. They say right now humans' focus is only anywhere from 2 to 5 seconds, I think, to keep your focus on something. And I want you to focus on it so intently that you start to notice the lines and start to notice the creases in whatever it is. Start to notice the color, the patterns, notice the textures. Really get into whatever it is you're focusing on so that your awareness and focus is totally into that thing that you're looking at, no matter what it is. Like it could be as simple as a coffee cup, right? There's not a whole lot to look at here, but if you can just focus your energy and attention into that for a few seconds, you're going to start retraining your brain to hold its focus. And I would sit and practice doing that for 3 minutes every hour. You know, give yourself time to do it. Just like the breathing practices I talk to people about. Once you start these breathing practices, you want to do it for a period of time every hour. And you want to bring yourself back to the place where that breathing is calming your system back down every hour. I would never let my system go longer than a few, and for me actually it's like half an hour, it's a few minutes, without keeping my system calmed down, especially if I'm in the middle of something that's getting me revved up. So you have to become aware, and then you have to bring the system back under your control. Breath will do it. Heart-centered focus will do it. Focusing on something you want to see in your life will do it. But you have to be able to focus, and that's where we come back into this place to, okay, how do I teach myself how to focus? Because we were taught not to. We were taught to jump from thing to thing, and it has gotten worse and worse over time. So you sit down and you focus on something. Now, if I'm focusing on something that I actually want to see in my life, in my life, that's a form of manifestation. If you meet the mark, right, the resonance on that high vibration, you're going to manifest that thing that you're focusing on. And how I simply do that is I bring myself into heart coherence. I bring my awareness to my heart. I do some nice deep inhales and exhales. I slow my breathing. I slow down my system. I calm everything back down. And then I put my focus on whatever it is I'm thinking about. I literally will see it probably 3 or 4 feet in front of my body. My eyes are closed, so I'm visualizing whatever it is I'm working on. I'm keeping myself calm. And the goal in this instance would be more the focus than it would be the manifestation. I'm just merely trying to keep my focus and awareness on that thing. And this is a lot of the reason why most people's manifesting doesn't really work very well, because they can't keep their focus on it long enough to get the message across, because in 2 seconds you're off and running to another, right? Your brain is off thinking about something else. So you have to keep your focus and awareness on it. And we know the longer that we do that, the longer you keep your focus on a certain thing, your brain waves will start to change. You'll start to head towards theta. And when you're in that position, that's when the world opens up to you. That's when the universe opens up to you. So you keep your focus by practicing focusing. And if you want to focus to keep yourself in a position to prosper, and I'm not talking just monetarily, I'm talking about every area of your life, it has to become a practice, right? So my practice at this point is breath, is focus, is heart-brain coherence. And I do it just for a period of time, and not just like once or twice a day. Every hour, I'm checking back in. Where am I? Where am I? Am I centered? Am I here? Or am I out running around and my head's all over the space and all over the place in the world? Right? Where's your focus? Because wherever you're focusing is what you're going to start seeing in your life. It's just the way it works. And you have to truly become aware of that. The practice to focus is just looking at it. Let's go over this again. Look at the thing that you're focusing on and just hold your mind on it, right? Start by doing it for 15 seconds and then increase it over time. Add your breath to it. So that breathing practice of huge inhales, expansion through the chest and rib cage, and those nice long deep exhales are going to keep calming your system down. And the more you get that system calmed down, the more your brain waves are going to start to come into coherence. If you cross your arms and legs, you're going to use that whole brain state idea. You're going to put your brain into that position just by merely crossing your arms and legs. You're holding that nice high feeling. You're going to start to train that into your subconscious, right? Because we start opening those doors into that realm. So I would suggest like sit every hour and do that for 3 minutes. Like it's really all it takes, because you're doing it consistently all day long. It happens faster. instead of trying to do this huge like hour or 2 hour block in the morning and maybe 20 or 30 minutes later on in the day, break it up so it's little smaller increments, that it's actually doable. 3 minutes every hour for most people, it seems kind of crazy to start with, but then they realize, wow, it's only 3 minutes. And during the course of a 12-hour day, that's only 36 minutes. But because you've interjected it back into the system, when we're talking like if you're awake for 12 hours, we're talking 12 times, you get more benefit. Consistency counts and all of this stuff. So the more you focus, the more you be there, the more you get your head into the game, the better and better and better and better and better this is going to get, okay? Training yourself to focus, to stay in the position, to prosper. It's going to help you. It's going to benefit you, I promise. Blessings and peace. I hope this helps. Let me know below. Make comments. Tell me where you're at. I am opening up a new course. It's going to be a year-long program. I've tried to price it very reasonably so that people can get into it. And so if you can do that, I really encourage you to take a look at it. I'll post the link below this video so you can see it quickly. All right, blessings again. Can't wait to talk to you soon.